So in the previous video, we've talked about Django templates, and in this video, we'll be talking about Django templating and its basics. And in other words, we're going to be talking about Django HTML, which is HTML but within the Django application. And we'll see what I mean by that in a moment. So this is the project we've been working on, and this is our application. Hello. And in order to include Django HTML, I'm going to give you a small example before we begin. So let's go ahead and try to create a function that instead of giving me hello world, this template, let's say I want to say hello Sarah. So let's go ahead and let's call this function Sarah, and this function has an argument which is a request, and it's going to be returning upon that request an HTML page which is going to be rendered first upon a request, and let's call that template Sarah, or let's say greet.html. And let's go ahead and create that HTML file. So create greet.html. So let's go ahead and just copy paste the same content of index for now, and instead of if it's saying hello world, I wanted to say hello Sarah. So now we have one last step, which is adding that function, that use function which is called Sarah, to our path. So we'll go to your as.py and we add that path. So let's say whenever I type hello /Sarah, I'm going to be returned with views.Sarah, and which has a name Sarah, just for simplicity. And save that. So this is the your.py, which is inside of hello, of my hello application, and this is my views, this is my function. Now let's go ahead and open the command prompt and run our server. So python manage.py run server, and click on enter. Let's copy that link and let's go ahead and paste it here. So we have to add /hello to enter our application. So this is hello world. Now let's say I want to go to hello however Sarah. So this is hello Sarah. Now let's go ahead and try to add let's say I don't want to say Sarah, I want to say John. So hello John. So I'll copy that code and just instead of saying Sarah, I'll say John. And here as well, let's keep for now greet the same, just for now. Let's save that and we go now to so it's greet1, sorry, and we'll be creating greet1.html, and inside of greet1.html let's just copy the whole thing of greet and just change the name to hello John. And of course we need to add it to our path, so copy and then paste it. So here instead of Sarah, I'm going to be adding John, and here John, and here John, which is the name of our function. Now save that, go to views, save that, and now let's go ahead and rerun. So python manage.py run server, or you could just refresh the page, doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and paste it. type in hello John. So you can see that we are returned with hello John. However, let's say I want to, each time I want to write a name, I don't want to go ahead and write a new function with the name of that person and then go ahead and create a new template and then go ahead and add that new path. That seems so tedious to do. So here comes what we call as Django HTML, and as you will see, HTML pages that I can render using Django are parameterizable. So let's see what do I mean by that. So instead of adding a new function each time with a person's name, I'm going to just delete that, or let's just keep it for now, and I'm going to add a new function called greet. This function is going to take a request, okay, and so whenever I type in my URL link that we'll be adding in a moment, it's going to go to that greet function, and another argument inside of that greet function is the name that we'd like to add. So whatever I write here, we're going to be seeing as a variable. So whatever I write at this link, I'm sending a request, and I'm going to add to that request a variable which we'll be passing to. So here the second argument is the name of that variable. So let's give it a name of name. You can call it whatever you want. And now I'm going to be returning a rendered HTML page. So I found that request, and I'm going to go to greet.html. So this is the template we'll be going to. Okay, and I'm going to provide that HTML template with some parameter. So I'm going to be providing it with a variable called name, which is going to take that variable name. So we'll add a comma here. Okay, so what I mean by here, let's just, for you not to be confused, we can call it any name. It doesn't have to be the same name of the variable. So let's say I call it greet name. It doesn't matter. You can call it whatever you want. So we'll be giving that variable to the HTML template, which is going to hold the value name, which is carried with that request. So whatever I write in that link is going to be carried in that request, and it's going to be put in that HTML template with the name greet name. And now if I go to greet, let's go ahead and just delete that, we don't need it, and that too, and let's just delete greet one. Okay, and now here, so as we've said, we put that variable inside of greet.html. So how might I add that variable to my HTML page? So using Django's ability to take an HTML page and put it like a template that we can manipulate, Django has added its own templating language. So to say, on top of that existing HTML, and this will be able to render an HTML page that actually have a variable inside of it. So it can have a loop or variables inside of it, or conditionals, and we'll see that in a moment. But for now, we're just focusing on parameters. So we'll be using that parameter inside of our HTML page as a variable. We're going to inside of double curly bracelets add the name of the variable, so which is greet name. So I'll go ahead and save that, and sometimes whenever you visit the code in the bottom, Visual Studio Code detects the code of your template that you're working on. And so if I change it to Django HTML, it's actually the same, but the colors change. It makes it better for your eyes to see things better, especially Django parameters. So now that we added that variable, let's just remove Sarah. And so now whatever I write in that variable is going to be printed here. So if I write Sarah, hello Sarah. John, it's going to say hello John. And now the last thing we need to add is the path. So we've seen in the case of Sarah or John, we've added a path under the name. But how would I add a path with a variable? I mean, I can write anything inside of that string. And so it turns out Django provided us with a way to do that too. So we can, instead of writing a string, I can write a variable. I want that variable to be a string, and I'm going to be calling it name. So that string has a name. So that variable is a string type and has a name. And we'll be calling the greet function, and let's give it a name, greet. So now that name right here is the same one right here. So whenever I write a URL with a variable to the string, it's going to be saved as a variable called name, and then upon that request, it's going to be going to go to views.greet, and we're going to pass that variable as a parameter inside of that function in order to use it as a variable to our greet.html template, and I'll be adding it in my HTML content. And now let's go ahead and save everything, and if we go ahead and refresh our page, so it's still John. Let's say I want to write Tala, hello Tala. So you can see I can write anything, FFF, hello FFF. So this, let's just go ahead and try to capitalize our names. So just to make it more good looking, so name.capitalize. So this is a function, not or let's say a Boolean function to capitalize any string. So since name is a string, we capitalized it. So let's say I write in Tala, it's going to be capitalized at the beginning, of course. So now we've been able to use that Django templating language to put variables inside of our HTML template. We were able to create an number of infinite routes by using this variable. So /hello /name, and that name is going to be whatever we wrote. And this template is going to be more powerful in the next videos because there are additional features that Django templating with HTML is going to give us.